Hey, I'm Chris Sparks, creator and author of Rewind, here with the weekly update. For this update, I thought I'd talk a little bit about how I ended up writing a comic book. I've been a fan of comics since I was a kid, comics and superheroes in other media. I think Spider-Man was probably almost always been my favorite of the big names, because he wasn't all powerful or all knowing or any of that. He was just a guy who got some power, and then it changed his life, changed his priorities. It kind of turned his life on its head, really. And then he had to make some really vital decisions about what was right and wrong, and how he could use his abilities to make a better world. I mean, he had to really first decide that was the right thing to do, that was important. His Uncle Ben, with great power comes great responsibility, really shaped that decision for him. And I think it's kind of interesting how the people who raise the superheroes, without the Kents, Superman wouldn't be Superman. Like a guy like that, how could he even identify with humans, really? But it was because of the people that raised him that he was able to understand and care about humans. And I thought it would be really interesting to take a character who had a bad father figure, and see how that would affect his decisions. This is a guy who still decided to try and fight crime and try and make the world a better place and stuff like that. But his motives, his motivation comes from a kind of a painful place, a different kind of painful place than with Spider-Man or those others. And so he's making these decisions, and he eventually has to ask himself if the decisions he's making are really the right ones, if he's using his ability in the way that's really best to make the world a better place and to make himself a better person. And there are subtleties to that question that I am really looking forward to exploring in Rewind. I also enjoyed Irredeemable quite a lot. If you ever had a chance to read that one, it's about a really powerful superhero, a lot like Superman, but he is doing what he's doing maybe for not the best reasons, and eventually he snaps and goes bad, and just the outcome of that, like psychologically and personally, is really interesting. So I wanted to explore the moral and the ethical questions involved, as well as just make an awesome action comic. So anyway, I've also been a gamer since I was a kid. I think there's something in us that makes us want to reach beyond the mundane to the epic. There's something in us that makes us want to be heroes, that makes us want to excel or to transcend ourselves and make a better world. And when I was a kid, I thought that creative pursuits, entertaining pursuits, making music, which is something I enjoy doing, or writing a comic book, for instance, I thought that those things maybe weren't important enough, that they weren't a good use of my ability and my time. And it took me a long time to realize that if I could inspire people, or if I could bring these questions up, address these questions in an interesting way, that I could make the world better for the individuals that read the comic book, and through the comic book, I could potentially, positively influence things. So this has been a big transition for me, and I appreciate all the support and the good vibes that you guys have sent our way. And we desperately need it to get this thing off the ground and really get running with it. So thanks so much for your time. I've got a whole world planned out in my head. I've got like 7 other concepts in this same world with Rewind. 6 or 7 right now, and kind of more brewing in my head. So if you want to know more about those, just go to our website, cnzproductions.weebly.com, cnzproductions.weebly.com, and check it out. There's you can see the preview for Rewind there, as well as a page where I even have a survey up to help me decide which of those projects to pursue next. So check it out. Thanks for your time, and we'll see you on the next weekly update, if not before.